You know, when you think of an entrepreneur, what comes to mind? Probably some kind of visionary, a risk taker, right? But what if I told you that's all wrong? For decades, some of the smartest people in business research were totally stuck on this question. They were trying to solve this massive puzzle, and today we're going to look at the one idea that finally made all the pieces fit.
Seems like a simple question, doesn't it? But for years and years, researchers were obsessed with finding a single entrepreneurial personality. They were looking for these common traits, but no matter how hard they looked, they just kept hitting a brick wall.
And this right here, this just lays it all out. On one side, you've got the popular myth. The entrepreneur is some kind of superhero. And on the other side, you've got the tough academic reality. The whole field was a total mess. The paper we're looking at today literally calls it a hodgepodge of research. The entire discipline was struggling for legitimacy because it couldn't answer its most basic question.
So here's exactly why they were stuck. They were looking at the person, not the problem. But think about it. Entrepreneurs come in all shapes and sizes, right? They can be bold, they can be cautious, introverted, extroverted. There is no single entrepreneur gene. This hunt for a superhero, it was a complete wild goose chase.
So what was the breakthrough? Well, it all came down to a pretty radical shift in focus.
And that brings us to the source material for this whole explainer. Back in the year 2000, Scott Shane and S. Venkataraman published a paper that didn't just add to the conversation, it pretty much blew the whole thing wide open with a brand new framework.
And there it is, the big idea, the light bulb moment. They basically said, hey everyone, stop looking at the person, start looking at the opportunity. This simple shift from who to what was the key that unlocked the entire puzzle.
So, with this new focus, we get a new definition. Entrepreneurship isn't some magical personality type, it's a process. And it has 3 key stages. You've got discovery, evaluation, and exploitation. All of a sudden, this messy, confusing topic becomes this clear, step-by-step process that we can actually understand and study. All right, so let's dig into that first step, discovery. Where do these big opportunities even come from in the first place? You know that feeling, right? You see a new product and you're just like, that's so simple. Why didn't I think of that? Well, it's not magic. According to this new way of thinking, it really boils down to 2 key things. Okay, the first one is this really cool idea they call information corridors. So imagine all the knowledge in the world is a giant library. You've only been down a few of the aisles, the ones related to your job, your hobbies, your life experiences. But in those specific aisles, you are an expert. And opportunities appear when some new piece of information lands in an aisle you know inside and out. But just having the information isn't enough. That's only half the battle. The second key is what you do with it. It's that cognitive leap, that ability to connect the dots in a way nobody else has. It's that real aha moment when you realize you can use this thing to solve that problem.
So, you've spotted an opportunity. You've had the aha moment. But an idea is just an idea until you actually do something with it. And that brings us to the next critical step, the decision to take the leap.
This is where the rubber really meets the road. And according to this framework, the decision to act isn't random. It's a calculation, whether you realize you're making it or not.
And that calculation really comes down to 2 big things. First, you look at the opportunity itself. How big is it? How profitable could it be? Then you kind of have to look in the mirror. Do I have the money? Do I have the connections, the skills? And maybe most importantly, do I have the stomach for it?
And this is where it gets really interesting. The research shows that a little bit of delusion is actually a good thing. A purely rational person would probably look at the insane odds and just never start a business. It's that slightly irrational, over-the-top optimism, that belief that you're the one who's going to make it, that gives you the push you need to take that leap.
Okay, so we have discovery and we have action. But why does any of this matter? Why is this new framework so important, not just for entrepreneurs, but, well, for all of us? Because this process, this all cycle of seeing and doing, is literally the engine that drives our economy. It's how a cool bit of technical information in a lab gets turned into a new life-saving product. It's how we find and fix things that are inefficient or broken. It is, quite simply, where progress comes from.
I mean, this quote, which they actually use in the paper, just says it all, doesn't it? Trying to understand the economy without understanding entrepreneurship is like trying to understand Hamlet without Hamlet. You're missing the main character, the one who drives the entire story forward.
So, what's the bottom line here? It's that entrepreneurs aren't some special breed of person. Entrepreneurship is a process.
It's about seeing what's possible from your own unique spot in the world, and then having the guts to go after it. And the best part? Because it's a process, it's something anyone can learn.
So, I'll leave you with this. This whole framework isn't just theory. It's a tool you can use. So look at your own life, your job, your passions, your hobbies. What's in your information corridor? What problems are uniquely positioned to solve? The next big thing might be hiding right there in plain sight, just waiting for you to connect the dots.